everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs, and I'm so excited to be participating in the Stamparatus blog hop. I really played around with a lot of things because there's so many things you can do with it, and I couldn't decide which one I really wanted to show the most. But truly, my favorite thing to use the Stamparatus for is our background stamps. So I decided to use the marbled background stamp, and if you read my post, I had a really hard time capturing what I did here. Now hopefully you guys can see in the light that I have created a background that kind of is a little bit shiny, has some texture. I was trying to capture an oil slick on the ground. And I know that might sound yucky, but when you're using a motorcycle and you think about what you would find in a garage, I definitely think you would find a oil slick. So I'm going to show you how the Stamparatus helped me make that possible. I'm also going to show you how I use the Stamparatus to create movement with my motorcycle. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. We're gonna do our background first. Now let me pull out the Stamparatus and tell you that, of course, you probably know that the Stamparatus has two plates that are movable. They come off, they move up and down. It's great for 2- and 3-step stamping. But like I said, my favorite part is our background stamp. So we're gonna start with that stamp. Now, my background stamp is rubber. It has a little bit of foam there, so we don't need our foam pad. It's thick enough already on its own. All right, I'm gonna take this and just put it a couple of squares up from the bottom, actually, and I'm actually going to stamp on a piece that's larger than what I already need. I'm going to use the smoky slate cardstock, and I'm going to pull off one of my magnets from the back just to hold it in place. All right, so as you can see, my paper is bigger than my stamp. I really wanted that so that I can figure out which part of the stamp I liked. I'm going to cut it down to the size that I need it. All right, so I'm going to start with basic black. Again, we're stamping on smoky slate cardstock, and I'm going to ink it up really good. The thing I love the most about doing this with a Stamparatus is because the stamp is so large that a lot of times when you're stamping with just a block, it's hard to get equal coverage all over your paper. And with a Stamparatus, if that happens, we can just re-stamp, which is what I like to do anyway to create a layer, a thicker layer. Now see right here what's happened? I'm going to come back, lay it down, and push it down again, and it filled in beautifully. Now it's not dark enough for me at all, so I'm gonna ink it again. I'm gonna do this several times until I get a really good, deep, dark black on here. And I'm gonna make sure that I push down pressure. Close to the hinge, you're gonna need to apply more pressure than on the outside because it's a little bit higher there. All right, let's peel it up. All right, we're getting there. Looks like in the middle, I need to really focus there. Now, after I have done this several times, we're gonna come back with some Versamark. And that's how we're going to get that slick embossed surface. All right, let's see. Push it down all over. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we have got it. All right, I'm gonna take my stamp cleaner and a paper towel and just get most of this black here off so that I don't mess my Versamark pad up too much. You could take it off completely and use your stamp cleaner, but we're just gonna do it quick for the video. All right, so now our paper is still in the same spot. So we know that when we stamp again, it's going to be exactly where we need it to be. So I'm going to take my Versamark and cover it completely. And we're going to stamp it down. Now I did not want to create a totally shiny piece. I wanted it kind of shiny in some places and sparkly in others. So after I do this, I'm actually going to take silver and clear embossing powder. Now, when you shake these off, they are going to get mixed up and you're not going to want to put them back into the same canisters together. So I have my clear here, and I'm going to take the tip of my bone folder and just kind of put it around in different spots. I'm not completely coating it. I wanted it to be thicker in some places and thinner in other places, because an oil slick is different. In some places it has a spectrum like a rainbow, and some places it's just shiny, and some places it's black. So I'm just kind of going all over and mixing those around. Now, like I said, you want to tap this off and you're going to throw that away. You don't want to put those back together in the same canister. All right, we're going to move the Stamparatus over, but we're not done with it yet. Let me heat this with a heat tool, and I'm going to speed up the video to get this done. All right, there we have it. Now we're going to cut that down in just a minute. You can see how it's different. Shiny in some places, it's silver in other places, and it kind of gives that glimmery look like an oil slick would. Now let's bring the Stamparatus back, and I'm just going to take this off because I don't need that one anymore, but luckily I have this other plate that I can use, so I don't really have to stop and go clean things up before I'm done with my project. Now I'm using this motorcycle from One Wild Ride, and I'm going to again use a piece of cardstock that is bigger than what I need. And I'm going to set it here. I'm going to put my magnet up at the top, and I'm going to see where my motorcycle needs to be. We're going to take it right to the end here, and actually we're going to move this over because we're going to step backwards with our motorcycle. We're going to go back because we want the motorcycle that's in the front to be the darkest motorcycle. So we're moving backwards. All right, I'm going to ink it up with pumpkin pie once, and then I'm going to step backwards, hinge it up, and slide it over back. See how that goes down. There we go. And one more backwards. I'm not inking it again. We want it to get lighter and lighter as it goes. And there we have it. Isn't that cool? I love it. All right. Now, before we take this completely away, let's go ahead and do our sentiment, because we're going to cut this down in just a second. So we're going to use the sentiment that says, hope today is one wild ride. And I think I'll do it right about here because we're going to cut it off. I guess I need to leave that, don't I? And I want to do two different colors here with my stamp. So I'm going to get a Post-it note. Let's see, I have one right here. And I'm just going to cut off a little piece to cover up the wild, the word wild. Let's see if I can get it all covered up. Did I cut it too skinny? Hope you guys can see that. All right, now I'm going to ink all of it with basic black. And I'm going to take that off, move that out of the way so it doesn't make a mess. Get my pumpkin pie and color in that wild. All right, and there we go. Now, I can tell you that the Stamparatus, look at that, beautiful. The Stamparatus really has replaced my clear blocks for me. In my studio, I use it almost for every project. It just makes things easier. I feel like I have more control over my stamping, and it's really wonderful. Oh, I need to turn this around. Okay, we're gonna cut this down right above those motorcycles. All right, let's cut that. There we go. And you know what? I actually want it to be a little bit thinner than that. So we'll cut off the bottom. I really just wanted it wide enough for the motorcycle. All right, let's go through and cut out our sentiment. This is the Stampin' Trimmer, and hopefully I can cut a straight line while making a video. No pressure. All right, well, we're gonna say that's straight enough, right? For the video, it's straight enough. All right, let's trim that off right there, and that off right there. And we are ready to put this card together. Oh, no, we're not. We got to cut this down too. Now, I cut this down to 4 inches. Let's see. Let me double check because I've already cut my mat, and my mat is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So we're going to cut this one down to 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. All right, so let's get those straight edges. And now we said 5 1/8 and 3 7/8, because we just want that mat to just be a tiny bit thicker than our embossed piece. All right, get all of our players here, get our trash out of the way so it's not distracting us. And let's put it together with our fast fuse. All right, we're going to start here. Put this down. There we go. And now I've cut a basic gray card base. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, folded in half. And I'm going to add a couple of little things here. I really like the look of sequins just peeking out. And I wanted to include some silver here. So let me make sure all my adhesive is back. Now here comes the tricky part. This little cute little adhesive, if we can get it to lay down. And I'm going to just stick it down in one section. All right. There we go. And now I can just get it to, I just want to see about half of it sticking out there. A good thing to do when you're doing this is to get one of your heavy punches and set it on either end of that trim so it'll lay down straight. And it's much easier to attach that way. All right, now we're going to layer it on a piece, on a piece of silver foil. Right there. Should be just a little bit wider on each, or taller on each side. And I wanted to bring that pumpkin pie in just a very narrow strip. Uh-oh, our sequins are sticking out. All right, well, that's all right. Just a narrow strip right there. Let's push those in. There we go. All right, let's put it down. This is lots of layers. It's very fancy when it has lots of layers, I think. All right, right there. There we go. Now let's get that little sentiment. And you could have stamped that sentiment there, but I like to pop things up. So some mini dimensionals on either end. Like that. We'll put it there. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to use linen thread or basic black twine, so I used both. And I'm going to take these and tie them around the fold of my card together, just pretending like it's one strand. And we'll tie that bow right there. Cut those ends off. And then one more little goodie. How about some metallic stars? Got to use that piercer to get them off and stick them where you want them. Let's see, how about over here? And maybe one down here. And there you have it. I've shown you 3 different ways to use our wonderful Stamparatus. Remember that the Stamparatus is available beginning June 1st. And I hope that you will continue to hop along on our blog hop to see how the other ladies have used it, because we've all got different ideas and different tips for you on how to use it. So here are my cards, and I wanted to show you one more I did using just smoky slate on smoky slate cardstock, still embossing it in the same way. I couldn't decide which I liked best, but I ultimately went with the basic black. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Hop along to the others and let us know what you think. And make sure you add that Stamparatus to your order as soon as it comes available on June 1st. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.